What's up, dude? Oh, I'm about to go see Scream 5. I, I know it's just called Scream. I know. But to me, it's Scream 5. So you coming or what? Alright. Yeah. Yeah, I'll see you there. Alright. Bye.
Josh and Caleb.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Josh. Today we're going to talk about Scream, or as most people call it, Scream 5, the reboot for the Scream franchise, which is a horror franchise I love. Might be my favorite. I know a lot of people don't like some of the sequels, and we'll get into that, but I think overall is a great franchise, and this movie put it back on the map. So we're going to talk about some things. First, this is a spoiler review, so if you have not seen the movie, put this on your watch later list and go watch it before we get started. Alright, with that out of the way, I thought it would be cool to start with my personal ranking of the franchise. To me, 1 is still the best. I think most people would agree with that. Then second, I put number 4. Love number 4, is great. Then third, squeaking in there, is the newest one, 2022, Scream. Then I would go 2, then 3. Alright, so that out of the way, the newest Scream, Scream 22, from the directors of Ready or Not, which was a great horror movie. When they brought them on board, I'm like, oh, I'm going to enjoy this film. Because for the longest time, I thought 4 was going to be the last. Thought this one was going to be it. 2011, so, 12 years for the newest one. Really enjoyed Scream 4. A lot of people didn't. And then, of course, this one, giving a tribute to Wes in character form, thought that was cool. Love Wes Craven. He's one of my favorite directors of all time. His dad was also a pastor, if you didn't know that. Then he became a professor. He didn't enjoy that. Then he just started making movies. And that's how he became a horror icon. Love Wes Craven. People Under the Stairs, Shocker, Serpent in the Rainbow, those are ones a lot of people don't really know or remember. They remember Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hills Have Eyes, stuff like that when you're talking about Wes. But, yeah. Alright, let's get started about talking about Scream 2022. Now, the opening sequence was great. Love it mirrored the first movie in a lot of ways, kind of like what Force Awakens did for Star Wars. it had scenes that were very similar to scenes that had come before. So the opening sequence was great. Second best opening sequence in the franchise from the first one. First one's great. But I'm going to show pictures up here as I'm talking, but having the landline in this movie, as you know, we're so advanced as far as technology, and having the joke in there about why do we still have a landline, that was great. Love the whole sequence. Usually the opening involves a death, but for this one it did not. She survived so that her sister would be forced to come back. So yeah, I should talk about her sister, the new Sid, the new main character. To me, the younger sister, Tara, I think she would have been a better main character. Then, of course, you have the whole thing where Billy Loomis is her dad and the ghost follows her around. I actually quite enjoy that. It does get a little repetitive towards the end. They do it a few too many times, like the final sequence with everything going on, he just pops up in the mirror and, you know. So they use it a little too much, but I did like the idea very much of that. Him being her dad and stuff, that's brilliant. That's going to be in a later sequel, I'm sure. And I think she's going to eventually be Ghostface, but we'll get into that. Let's talk about the OG trio. Now, they did not get a lot of screen time, and that's a good thing. You don't. Scream 4 almost. It was kind of 50-50. This one, not as much, except for Dave Arquette's character. He was in it quite a bit. Then Sidney and Gail were not in as much, but their roles were, I thought, done pretty good. It's so for them surviving again. One of them had to go. We knew that coming into it. You can't have them survive all of these movies every time. We had to have some stakes this time, so fortunately, Dewey did not make it. And I've said spoilers, so you were warned. He did not make it this movie, but love that whole sequence. It's an honor, that whole thing. So it was very sad to see him go, but they did it in a great way. Let's see. Okay, I mentioned Wes's character. He has a great sequence. That whole sequence of him coming home, his mom's getting sushi, and Ghostface calls her, and it's a switch. He's actually at the house. She comes back. That whole scene building tension. Every time he opens a cabinet or the fridge, you think, oh, Ghostface is going to pop out here. But he never did till the last time when Wes opens the door. But yeah, love that whole sequence. The other characters, Tara's my favorite character. She was great. Then Sam, the new Sidney. I enjoyed her in the movie, but I feel like Tara would have been a better main character for me. Anyway, well, it's kind of both their story in a way, but I enjoyed both of those characters. Then, of course, you have Amber, who's the know-it-all best friend. Then you have Kirk, the boyfriend. He had some funny lines. And then you have Chad and Mindy, the twins, who are Randy's nephews. His sister is their mom. Then you have Liv, who all the characters was kind of forgettable character, because, you know, with Chad and stuff, she keeps leaving, keeps coming back. You know, she's probably the weakest character in my opinion, but that's just me. Alright, we talked about my favorite scene. Then we'll talk about the future, what I think would make a good idea for a sequel. Scream 3 almost was Stu being still alive in prison, and he gets all these disciples to be Ghostface and carry out murders in Ghostface's honor. That would have been a cool sequel, but then Columbine happened and we got the whole Hollywood angle on Scream 3. But I think Sam will be the new Ghostface. They're setting that up. And one, if not two, of the remaining OG characters will be killed. I believe that. At least one of them. Probably Gail. They'll save Sidney till the third movie in this trilogy. I think that will happen. The future is very bright, though, for this franchise. Wes would be proud. I do actually show my whole Wes Craven collection in a video. Go check that out. Alright, we're going to end with the pros and cons of Scream 2022. There's a lot of humor. I did not expect all the humor. Very funny. Dewey has a funny line. I think you're the killer because that cut deep. Great line. The Easter eggs, the use of callback characters, Stu's sister, then you brought back Detective Judy. So great. Loved all the callbacks. Then using Stu's house from the original movie. That was great. The kills were pretty good this movie. I enjoyed them. Tara was great. She's definitely a pro for this movie. She carried almost the entire movie by herself. Their motive was pretty creative about getting bad sequels in the Stab franchise, and they wanted to give Hollywood a better version for the sequels. And the use of Billy, although he is overused a little bit in my opinion. Alright, that's the pros. Oh, and I should say the use of the OG characters. I thought they used them just enough, not too much. Alright, so the cons, the killers were pretty obvious, in my opinion. I thought both the boyfriend, they were trying to, he's not the killer. They were bashing you over the head with that. I'm like, he has to be the killer. Why would he come back if... Anyway, they were both very obvious. Amanda and Kirk were both very obvious as Ghostface. Sam being a main character, I thought Tara should have been the main character. I've mentioned that a few times. Little pet peeve, but anyway. Another con, the fact that we still had two killers. This would have been the perfect movie to have three killers. Nobody would have expected it. It would have been great. But I guess they're saving that to the next movie because they wanted to mirror the first movie. And then, of course, Dewey dying, even though it was a great scene. Alright, I think that's my whole list here. Alright, hope you enjoyed it. I'm trying to do some more reviews for the channel. This will be just a little bonus video. It won't be a Saturday video, so hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me what you thought about the new Scream. If you're new here, think about hitting that subscribe button, giving this video a like if you did enjoy it. Alright, that's going to do it. I'm Josh. New videos coming as always. Until then, if I don't see you out thrifting or at Walt Disney World, I will see you at the movies. What's your favorite scary movie? Bye.